Welcome to Manifesting Basics, where we make manifesting a basic lifestyle. This podcast is about how to become a manifesting basic and how to live a more enchanted life. I'm your host, Amber Turner, author and creator of the most simple and basic manifesting methodology, Manifesting Made Basic. I am also the author of various books, including the spiritual book, You Choose Your Outfit, and the children's book, The Fearless Muscle. In each episode, we will dive into various topics of the human experience, such as transformation, feminine energy and womanhood, and manifesting an incredible life and experience. Join me as we commune, learn, grow, and expand. I invite you to subscribe to this podcast for weekly episodes. Let's go. Hi, and welcome to Manifesting Basics. I'm your host, Amber Turner. So I'm really excited for this episode 2 of the podcast. Today we are talking about fear. Yes, fear. And don't we all experience it? I mean, it's something that creeps up all the time, at least for me. And from what I know for most people, and it stops them in their tracks when it comes to achieving their goals, stepping into whatever it is they want for their life, creating an incredible life, all of those things. And so that's what I wanted to talk about in this episode. So I wanted to share this video that I created that was about turning fear into play and inviting more play into your life. One of the things that I've done is I wrote the children's book, The Fearless Muscle. And in that book, we talk about exercising that fearless muscle and overcoming fear. And it really is exercising that muscle and having to do it over and over again to really build that confidence, to really step into that next version of ourselves, to that better version of ourselves. So it really truly is about exercising a muscle. And also, I also have that book on my website at ambermarieturner.com for a free download if you're interested in sharing that with your children or yourself as well. I feel like it's a good lesson for us adults as well. And when it comes to overcoming fear. But I really wanted to talk about this thing, fear, that really seems to affect us all. It really does. It really affects us in a lot of aspects of our lives when it comes to love, when it comes to relationship, business, career, friendship, whatever it is. Like it really permeates almost every aspect of our life. So I really wanted to share this video that I created on really just changing our perspective. It truly boils down to that. So enjoy this episode. I also invite you to subscribe and download this episode and share it with your friends. Hi, and welcome to Manifesting Basics. So today I'm excited to talk about adventure, play, a little bit of energy, feminine energy, feminine energy. So, one of the things that I learned early on as a new mother, one of my coworkers told me one day, I was like, actually, I started off as like a frantic, everything is dramatic and, over the top and a big deal type of mother. And then one of my coworkers one day told me, she said, "You know what? You're looking at this thing all wrong." She said, "You are looking at everything being nervous and, the end of the world when you really just got to look at this thing as an adventure." And from that moment on, I realized that everything is really, truly a perspective shift. And I think they've done studies on this thing where if you're nervous, you truly can reframe your nervousness and like what all things can go wrong into excitement because that sensation feels the same in your body, because it's like this, like your heart is beating fast, you start to sweat a bit, your hands get clammy. It's like the same sensation in your body. Excitement and nervousness can feel the same. So, what is the story that you're telling yourself? Are you saying that you're nervous and, what are people going to think of me? What could go wrong? Or are you framing it or shifting your perspective to, this is an adventure, and looking at all the things that could go right, or the opportunities in this thing? How are you looking at life? The reason why I wanted to do this video is because I was watching YouTube today, and I'm the type of person, I listen and I watch my subscriptions. So I like to get the fresh stuff, the things that are just like a minute old or whatever, or a few seconds old sometimes. And I like to watch those things. So, but what I've noticed is, like, as of recently and what's been coming on in my feed, and maybe I'm manifesting this in my reality, it's just a lot of people are just taking life a little too seriously. Like, people are like, you got to do this, you got to be this way, and you got to, and I'm like, whoa, let's slow down here. And yeah, so I wanted to talk about adventure. I wanted to talk about reframing this thing. I wanted to talk about inviting more play into your life. Okay. I got a lot of things that would kind of invoke nervousness. In my life right now, we as a family, we're going to be moving. Not sure if it's permanent or temporary or whatever it is, but we're looking at it as adventure. With my business, I'm wanting to expand, and so we're also going to be tapping into where we're going to go as a family, into that, and see what that goes, tap into that community and see about growing there, and the network there, and the opportunities there. I'm starting a podcast, and this might be on the podcast. I will see. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel or the podcast, but I'm doing that and essentially starting this new adventure, which I'm really excited about, because with the podcast, I do feel like I can go deeper and it's more intentional. And I have other things that would invoke nervousness because it's new, but also from that day on, I've learned to really reframe and shift my perspective from nervous to what all the things that could go wrong, and really focusing on adventure and excitement and play and opportunities and just a new energy. So I wanted to talk about that, because we can often get wrapped up in, you know, life is really serious, and there is a time and place for being serious. But I would argue that there's more times to invite more play into your life, romanticize this thing, and really look at it as an adventure. As an adventure. Exciting, new energy all the time. So, I talk about how we're relating to this thing called life. Life is this beautiful love story in which we are writing and creating and choosing. We say creating, I feel like everything is already preordained. So we're actually like choosing. And preordained, people have different schools of thought on that, but preordained mean creation is finished and we get to choose. And so how are we going to relate to this life? How are we going to be in relationship with life? Is it going to be play? Is it going to be exciting and spontaneous, and still at the same time have that beautiful consistency and faithfulness and always being there, right? So I wanted to do this video because, or this podcast, again, I don't know what it's going to be, that if you feel like you're in your life and you're like, what? You're frantic, like, I don't know, you're nervous and all this kind of stuff. It really, truly is just a shift. Like this literal shift in perspective. How do you want this love story to play out? How do you want it to feel? One of my favorite quotes is something along these lines. I'm paraphrasing, is everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. And I love this idea that abundance and all the stuff that truly makes life easy, flow, and just harmonious, it takes courage. It takes courage, is on the other side of courage. It's like this making the decision and choice to choose how you look at this thing, how it's going to feel, how this story is going to play out. So I want to encourage you, if you're in a situation, if you're in a season of your life, or you're dealing with certain things, certain circumstances where it's like you don't know whether you should do this thing, you're too nervous, or you haven't, you don't know how it's going to play out fully, which is, most of us. I want to encourage you to look at it as an adventure. Like, what could go right? And how could this be, like, be playful about it? Like, this is the curiosity of a child. This is like play, and truly, we are playing. Like, again, life is serious, but is it? But is it? You know? But is it? So I wanted to do this podcast on adventure. I got a lot of things that I'm excited for. Could I frame it into being nervous? Sure. I am playing around with this idea of the makeup thing again. If you do not know, I've had a business in which was called Magical Beauty, and it was infused with pearl powder. I've been playing around with pearl powder and how I want to incorporate that with MB, Manifesting Basics. And, it's something that I still believe in and I love. It's healed my skin, and now I'm having to heal my skin again. And so I've come back around to this pearl powder thing. And so, yeah, I'm excited about it because it truly changed my life, and I'm having to come back around to it again. And I want to make it better. I want to make it where it's like amazing and better than what it was before. And I'm at a point in my life too where I feel like I've created and manifested a lot of beautiful things. And now I want to move those things and take them to a whole nother level. And that could be scary. I could be nervous about it. But I'm like, what else am I doing? Like, this thing that we're doing with this life is about, it's an adventure, it's play. And if you reframe your mind to play an adventure, it feels completely different. It's exciting, it's playful, it's romantic. Like, it truly is romantic. Like, life, love, romance, relationship should be adventurous. It should feel like an adventure. It should feel new and fresh and exciting. And that's how we want to frame this thing that we're relating to, life. So I hope you guys enjoyed episode 2 what it means to really overcome fear, what is on the other side of fear, and having the courage to really face that fear as well and actually change that perspective. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will check you guys in episode 3 and invite you. I also invite you guys to download, subscribe to this podcast, share it with a friend who also needs to hear this message. And I will check you guys in the next episode.